What up, world? It's your boy Ace Boogie, and I have some special guests in the building with us today. Can y'all please introduce yourselves?
Good evening. My name is Rose Hill, and I'm a civic and a grassroots leader here serving the east side of San Antonio for the last 25 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Garcia. I'm the owner of Yellow Rose and HRH carriage companies in the downtown area.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what you do.
I have been a volunteer and an organizer, community organizer here on the east side for, like I said, the last 25 years. Started out as a PTA president and moved myself up, and I have been the president of my neighborhood association for the last 10 years. I also serve as the president for 30 neighborhood associations here in District 2.
Now, where'd that passion come from?
My mother,
Okay.
small business owner. First mom and pop grocery business here at Lotta's Grocery Market, 702 Mason Street, here on the east side of San Antonio.
Oh, wow. So what all did she instill into you?
Well, she instilled respect, communication, and the passion for our community, helping people, working up the ladder. People, like, every day they have jobs, being out there to help one another. When one neighbor falls down, you pick that neighbor up and you keep moving.
There we go. Now, Yellow Rose, if you can, you speak more into the mic.
Yep.
Now, what exactly is that?
We are a horse carriage company downtown. There are actually 5 companies in the San Antonio downtown area. There's 25 carriages in total, and I am 2 companies, so I actually have 10 carriages downtown in the downtown area.
Now, you have an accent. Where are you from?
I'm actually from England. I'm from Yorkshire in England. I've been over here since March 2015.
So what brought you here to America?
The carriages. The horse
Really?
carriages, yeah. We actually came over just for the horse carriages in San Antonio.
Was this something that you did back in England?
No, I was a police officer for nearly 30
wow.
years
Uh-huh.
in England, and then this was supposed to be my retirement, but I actually feel like I work harder now than I ever did before. So, yes.
What differences do you see from England and America? What differences do you see?
There is a lot of differences. It's very wet and cold over in England. Obviously, the only thing that I don't like about over here is the health insurance. But we obviously will put up with that. But I do prefer it over here than actually being in England.
Okay. So what brings us here today? What is it you want to talk about?
We would like to talk about a recent CCR that was submitted to the City Council on the 28th of November by the District Councilman from District 2, Jalen McKee Rodriguez. This was actually filed with the city with no prior knowledge to us. We did not know anything about this. We weren't aware it was going to be done. The first I actually heard of it was when a reporter called me on the 28th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and asked me how I felt about the situation.
Okay, so for those who don't know what that is, exactly break down what it is they're trying to do.
They're actually trying to ban the horse carriages from the downtown area of San Antonio. They want to get rid of San Antonio history. They want to get rid of the horses, as they believe, and they have said on the reasoning behind the CCR is that the horses are being abused, they're treated cruelly, they have no pasture time, and all of these things are false. And we've actually told the council this, but yet nobody's approached us, nobody will speak to us, and nobody's willing to hear our side.
Now, what do you think led the city council members to support the CCR and phase out the horses?
I really believe this is from a lobbyist that's actually from New York.
Okay.
He has been involved with this. Obviously, there is an attempt to get rid of the New York carriage horses, which has been going on for many, many years. It's never been successful, but that's all down to real estate. And now they have moved on to us in San Antonio because they're trying to set a precedent for the rest of the country. By closing us down, they will move on to every other carriage company in the country, and they've openly said that their actual goal is to stop all horse carriages in the United States.
Why do you think the city council members believe that the use of the horses and the carriages is inhumane and cruel? Where did they get it from?
To be honest, it's all false information. They have not investigated it. They have not approached any of the companies, not spoken to any of the owners, the drivers. So they have been told this information by animal activists that actually are fueled by emotion, not by facts and science. So it's not something that they've actually approached us to actually find out what's going on. And if they did, they would see that it's completely not the case of what they've written on for the reasoning for the CCR.
Being as you said, there's a lot of history in San Antonio with the horse carriages and so forth. Do you think that maybe the city council or the man from New York, do you think they have some type of agenda?
Yes. The whole idea is to replace us with electric horseless carriages and pedicabs. This is something that they tried to do in New York. Fortunately for the horse carriages, the electric carriages are not allowed in the park up there, Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually no horseless electric carriages in production at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
They would be hard to insure. There's non-street legal, even if there was one that's actually designed for being in this country to be used.
How do you think this is going to affect the city, and how does this affect you guys as the horse owners?
Oh my goodness. Last year alone, we did over 200,000 rides for tourists. Well, people that came to us were over 200,000, and that's not including the children that are under 10. So there is a lot more people that we've given rides to. These people come specifically to ride the horse carriages. They come for the Alamo, they come for the boats, they come for the horse carriages. We bring a lot of income, and it would have a huge economic impact to the downtown area for all the businesses. Because obviously we do support the bars, the restaurants, the local shops. So it's going to have a big domino effect, a ripple effect for the whole of the downtown area.
What do you think is going to happen to these horses? I mean, is this in the process of being happening, or has it already happened?
No, the CCR is just a recommendation to the city council, but they do have 5 signatures on that CCR. It would go to vote with the city council. There's only 12 members, which includes the mayor. So if they got one more person on there, then obviously that is the votes to get rid of us. At the moment, there has been a little bit of a delay. They did try and rush it through to start with. It was supposed to be going through in like 1 to 2 weeks, but we managed to slow that down. So hopefully that it's going to be a lot more investigation going on the city council's part to actually approach us. But still, since the 28th of November, not one member of that council has approached us to speak to us.
And I think when you asked the question regarding where's it going from after the CCR, the process is it's got to go to the governance committee. The governance committee is organized, and it's organized by the mayor. The mayor appoints people to sit on that governance committee, and from there it's like a committee that will make a decision as it moves forward to city council. There right now, that's where we're very like Stephanie was saying, we're holding it back. Based on all the tremendous amount of support that the 5 horse and buggy carriages have received from the community. Myself, along with a lot of other community leaders, we do not want to see this happen. This is important that she tell her story, and the story of how this business industry has it's been a tremendous asset to the city of San Antonio. And also, you asked another question. You asked that. About how did this come about? Well, the lobbyist is here from New York possibly to make money. So I'm going to say, let's follow the money. Because money talks, okay? And so if the lobbyist comes in and he's successful in getting these horse and buggy carriers, then the city makes revenue off of it. So there's a grab the baton here, and how far can you go with the money?
No, they don't get any of the money from off of the carriages, correct? The city?
We do pay quite a bit towards the city, because obviously we've got to get licenses, be inspected, medallions. We do have to pay, funds to the city. But apart from that, then, they don't get anything percentage of the rides or anything like that. It's just the amount that we have to pay them to actually be down there.
Do you think that might have a lot to do with it? They're not greasing their pockets enough?
Possibility, but the thing about it, for 40 years they haven't received it. And I wanted to emphasize the fact that during the pandemic, these small businesses didn't ask for a handout from ARPA like a lot of the other businesses did. They withstood their employees, along with the owners, stood their grounds, and they made it through. They made it through the most difficult time. As you know, as COVID came by, a lot of businesses went under, and we still have some businesses, and I'm proud to say that these 5-horse carriage businesses, they're still here. And why? They didn't ask for a handout, because they worked hard. And I have seen on a one-to-one, basis that, I'm the kind of person that if you ask me to support something, I'm not going to support it until I research it and understand it and absorb it and find out, is this true? Or I'm a pro and con person. I want to see, for myself. I've actually seen those horses, how well they're taken care of. They are the people that come down there, the smiles on those children's faces when they ride those horses. When tourists come from San Antonio, from New York or other places to San Antonio, that's the first place they look. They look for the horse and carriage, because there's tradition down there. It's tradition.
That's what they think about us Texas folks.
Yes, it is. It's true. Yeah, they do think of horses, and people do come down to see the horses. I mean, it's not just downtown. We do a lot of things for charity. We do things for the toy giveaways. We do things for Make-A-Wish Foundation. So we do give back to the community. If anybody approaches us, we're always happy to help.
Yes. Well, I definitely want to shout out all of our viewers. Isaiah, I appreciate you for watching, man. Leanna, I appreciate you as well. Leanna had said something about one of her issues is the horses slowing down traffic downtown. And what is your thoughts on that?
Okay, so people do say that we cause the congestion downtown. That is really not the case. A lot of the roads have been closed due to construction. The horses down there have been down there for 40 years. The two companies that I own started in the 80s. We don't cause the congestion. The congestion comes from Alamo Dome, the Majestic, when they turn out. Unfortunately, we are down there, but when a slow season like we are at now, and the cars that are coming around and they're driving at speed and things, we actually slow that traffic down for safety reasons. That it's something that they are more courteous to the horse carriages. So we're actually giving the downtown area a benefit, because obviously we're doing a safety thing that people will slow down for the horses.
Yes. Garland asks, is there any way to compromise?
We would like to speak to somebody first. We can't compromise until the city council actually sit down and talk to us.
What's going to happen to these horses if this does pass?
That's a scary thing, because these animal activists say that there are rescues there to take these horses. Councilman Bravo from District 1 has actually spoken to some of the rescues, and the rescues turned around and said that these horses don't need to be rescued. The rescues are overrun. They have small horses. My horses are a 1,500, 2,000 pound animal. They eat a lot. They cannot afford to take I think with downtown alone, we've got around 60, 70 horses between the 5 companies. And these horses will end up in kill pens. That's what will happen.
So they'll be put down.
They will be killed. They will be sent to slaughter, because at the end of the day, if we're not working, we can't afford to look after them. These rescues can't take them. And the only ones that are going to be willing to pay for it, and they'll pay per pound, are these slaughterhouses, these kill pens.
What measures are being taken to ensure that the horses currently used for carriage rides will be properly cared for after the ban?
After the ban?
If it goes through.
Well, like I just said, we will not have the income to look after these horses. These horses are bred to work. They are draft horses. They have done this for hundreds of years. Before cars were invented, this is their job. They love to go to work. They would be, if they were to be put out to pasture, they would be bored. Some of them would even die, because they would get laminitis due to, eating too much. A horse can eat itself to death. So you've got to think of it that way. My horses are actually better cared for than most human beings. They have better health care than I have. They have a chiropractor. They have a dentist. They have 4 different vets that we use. They have a specialist farrier that comes and does their feet every 5 to 6 weeks. So, these horses are so well cared for.
Do they seem to have personality?
Oh my goodness, each one has got a real personality, and they're all different. You get the sassy mares to the slow poke horses.
Do you have anything to say?
Well, the only thing I would like to say is that when you make an accusation that the horses are not being taken care of, I would have loved to have seen that all city council come down there and inspect, look, find out. Even the veterinarian has acknowledged in the San Antonio report that these horses are not being abused, that he goes out and checks on them. He's also the veterinarian for the rodeo, for the animals for the rodeo. So the comparison that I would like to make to here today is that you have these beautiful Clydesdale horses that are being well taken care of by the owners. Okay, so we have the rodeo. Those cows, the cows that are being knocked down and tackled and everything, and that's a show. Is that animal cruelty? So I would like to say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Is that how we look at it?
Yeah, right.
And so I again, people are saying about the horses, but really we have to get facts. You can't make assumptions. Get your facts together, and then from there you can make an honest determination. Is this good or is this bad?
Right.
And right now I see that it's not a very good compromise because there's a lack of communication. Our District 2 councilman should have said before you took the lead on this and you ran with it, you should have talked to the constituents of District 2. Effective communication and a lack of discipline in talking to us would have at least given us some input. The city talks about public participation, which was voted upon by the city council. They're constantly saying, we want to move San Antonio forward, but we want public participation. How can you have that if these people in good faith never were talked to and even asked, what do you think? How do you think? Let's come to a compromise. But there's been nobody sit down at the round table and let's have a discussion. Let's talk about this. Now we're here today because we want to make sure that the people out there in San Antonio know that these horse and carriage companies are a good place, and that we are going to fight the fight to make sure that they stay in business. Because when City of San Antonio says that they want to protect and they want to continue to promote small businesses, well, these are your 5 small businesses. So that means if you close down these 5 businesses, who's going to be next in District 2? That's not a message you want to send out there, and that's the message that's being sent out there right now.
But it's not just that. You've got to think of the drivers that work for us. It's not just the drivers. It's obviously the companies, the suppliers as well, vets, everybody like that. If this goes ahead and they do ban us, between the 5 companies, there's around 80 people that are going to be without a job.
Wow.
80 people.
How much money is circulating between the 5 of y'all as well, do you think? Getting food and getting,
My feed bill for my horses, that was another false accusation on the CCR, that the horses never get pasture time. My horses go home every day. So my horses go home and they're in pasture every day. My feed bill, I wouldn't like to even tell you the number that I spend on the horses, but I can tell you that it's 6 figures.
Oh, wow. Are there any alternatives being considered that will address the concern raised in the proposal while still allowing horse-drawn carriages to operate?
Like I said, there's been no communication between.
Is that illegal? Is there any type, if they never approach you about anything?
That's the annoying thing about it, because certain councilmen are saying that they have approached us and had meetings with us, and that's a lie. Nobody's actually sat down. I did speak to Councilman Bravo briefly, but that's all. We did go to a public meeting, and I actually openly, publicly invited all of the council members there to come and ride with us. Come and speak to the drivers, come and meet the horses, and still nothing.
Wow. Do you feel ignored in a sense?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. I would love to just sit down. I would love for somebody to come and see my facility downtown. I have a 15,000 square feet barn downtown, which is air conditioned. The horses all have their own personal fans as well as the air conditioning. If they saw how those horses are treated, this would never have even been a proposition to the city council.
Wow, my goodness. How will the switch to electric carriages and pedicabs be funded and implemented? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. They did suggest the transition for my drivers to go to these electric carriages and these pedicabs. Most of my drivers are late 40s, 50-year-old, and that is not a possibility. And yet they're saying that they want to do this. Are they going to put 25 electric carriages downtown? Because obviously at the moment there's 25 carriages downtown. So surely that's going to cause even more congestion if they're blaming us for the congestion. The pedicabs, we do have one pedicab downtown now. You very rarely see anybody.
Well, what exactly is a pedicab?
A pedicab is like a little two-seater behind a guy on a bike.
Oh my goodness.
So, I mean,
That's human slave labor right there.
who wants to sit behind a sweaty guy pedaling? I'm sorry. But, you know, he sits there downtown and he just watches us go by with our families and our laughing children. Recently, there's been an electric cab downtown that came down last weekend. Again, it's an ugly vehicle. Nobody wants to get in that.
It's no excitement to it.
No, people will come down for the horses. Who's going to want to sit on an electric carriage and propose? Who wants an electric carriage to come to their wedding afterwards to do the send-off? There's no romance, no fantasy there.
I was going to ask you, what type of feeling do you think that people get when they're getting these horse rides, you know?
Oh, they want to be princesses.
Right.
The kids come dressed up in their princess dresses. You know, it's just unbelievable. Valentine's Day next week, the amount of people that want to come and take their girlfriends, their boyfriends, their partners, and just do that 20-minute ride and just have a little bit of romance in their life. So, yeah, it's a completely different world with the horses. People come to see the horse. The carriages are beautiful with the lights and everything like that, but it's the horses that are the attraction.
Were there any studies or data available that shows the extent of the impact of the horse carriages?
No.
No?
There was a recent Texas public radio where Jalen District 2 Councilman was on there with Marty Irby, who is a lobbyist from New York. And he openly admitted that there is no record of any accidents involving the horses and no reports of any cruelty.
Do you think that this may get us a little bit less attraction as far as San Antonio goes? I mean, like I said, a lot of people do look forward to the horse rides.
I think it would have a big impact on the tourism downtown because, like you said, people come for the horses. They come for the Alamo, they come for the boats, they come for the horses. So I think it would have actually a huge impact on tourism.
What steps are being taken to address concerns about the safety and welfare of the horse using the horse-drawn carriages?
We are very highly regulated. We are the most regulated animal industry in the country. Our horses are inspected every 6 months by our own personal vets, and then they're inspected by the city once a year by Dr. Espy, Ben Espy. He's the one, he's an equine specialist, veterinarian. He's also at the rodeo, like Rose said earlier. And he comes out and he body scores the horses, and he is amazed by how we treat our horses, how well the horses look. And he is all for the horse carriages downtown. He knows that those horses are not abused in any way.
Is anyone speaking up for you guys?
Us.
That's it, really?
Us, and we've got Rose.
And I've been a very strong supporter of them and our community. A lot of our people on the east side are not happy with the decision, the way it was made. Proper process was not conducted. And I'm sad to say that the representation of our District 2 Councilman should have stepped up to the plate.
Right.
I did approach his staff, asked them to meet with them, to have a conversation with them. I was told that he had never had a conversation with this lobbyist, but then I got the recording on TPR radio, and there they were, both of them on the radio. So you can't tell me you have not had any kind of conversation with this lobbyist, and that's where this all started, in that direction. But to have a conversation with as a constituent of the east side, I would have preferred him to have had that warm, meaningful conversation, whether you agree or disagree with the owners, than a lobbyist from New York that doesn't even live in San Antonio.
Right.
I see that as wrong.
What steps are being taken to address concerns about the safety and welfare of the horses?
From them,
Yeah.
I mean, we're run by the city. We're covered by the city ordinance, chapter 33. So everything that we do is actually governed by them anyway. So they tell us the hours that we can work, when we can work, with the temperature, which horses can do what. A horse has to be a certain weight to actually be out on the streets. So, you know, they've already told us what we can and can't do. I mean, we personally as companies go steps further than that, because our horses are our family. My horses are treat like family. They're my babies. They really are, and they are spoiled, and I would never put them in danger.
Right. Oh, my goodness. Are there any potential or unintended consequences of the ban?
In what way do you think?
Such as again, like increased traffic congestion, reducing tourism, which is something we spoke on.
If they ban us, and they do bring in the electric carriages like they want to do, congestion will be a lot worse.
I believe that.
If you imagine that these vehicles that carry 12 to 15 people, it's just like a little golf cart, but an extended version of one. If there's 25 of them downtown and 20 pedicabs, then congestion is going to be horrendous. And pedicabs are pretty dangerous. I don't know whether you've seen them in New York. They're up and down the sidewalks. They're a nightmare. We are safe. We may be slow on the streets, but that's for our horses. We look after the horses. We don't trot. We're not allowed to trot downtown. We go at a steady pace. People want to enjoy a leisurely ride, and the clip-clop on the asphalt is just, you know, part of the romance.
Experience, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, do they give history while they're doing the rides?
We do, yeah. We have some amazing drivers. They all know history. They will give you stories. We can go into the King District, but again, we're very restricted to what hours we can go down there. We have drivers that do ghost tours. So yeah, it's. But sometimes people get on the carriages and they just want to sit and be romantic.
Embrace the obvious.
But we give them the option when they get on. Do you want a bit of history? We'll give you history if you want history.
Has the city ever tried to ban this before? Like,
there has been incidents where things have been brought up regarding the horses. I think the last one was about 13 years ago, but there's never been an intention to ban the horses. But again, this has come from New York, and I don't think it would have got to this stage if it hadn't been for this lobbyist from New York pushing again towards the electric carriages. Like Rose says, you've got to follow the money.
Right. And what do you think that money might lead to? Just if you was to guess.
Well, city revenue. Right now, I'm sure that the city, because of the COVID and everything, could use a little extra money. Who couldn't, right? But not at the expense of great families. Taking the bread and butter off of the table for their children. You know, what can they expect if Stephanie and her the owners found out? How do you think that those families felt tomorrow? Will my daddy have a job? Will we have food on the table? Will he be able to send his children to school? Will they be able to buy groceries or pay the light bills? What future do they have? Right now, they love those animals, and it's obvious that they have passion, they care. A lot of people, when you have jobs like that, do they really care about the horses? I've seen where they've gone that extra mile, that step, and like Stephanie says, giving history on the horses when the tourists come and giving those stories. But at the same time, when you see those tourists and those children's faces light up, I mean, right then and there, that's $1 million right there sold, you know? So I think it's not right. It's not right. And people across San Antonio need to know that we need to come together, because this is not San Antonio. This is not us. Right. We don't put people out of business. We help them.
Right.
Especially five small minority-run businesses.
And I want to say that this is a diverse business. Like Stephanie says, she's from England. You have two of the horse carriages are from the LGBTQ, and you have Afro-American owner. So you have a diverse group there, okay? And so I think that needs to be taken into strong consideration.
Yes, definitely.
You know.
What type of changes have you seen, good and bad, when it comes to District 2 being under our new District 2 councilman?
I think we need more communication. I think though he said he's reached out, this is a good example right here. that he has not reached out across party lines to meet them and talk with them. Communication is a key factor. We can have problems, we can agree to disagree, but we can always find the problems and find a solution to resolve it. I don't think that's happened here. I think we have a councilman that came in with a different kind of agenda to District 2. He doesn't really understand the overall concept of small businesses, economic development, working together. You know, this is not about an I or a me. This is about a we.
Right.
And we come together. We hold hands. We work together. We make things happen together. But unity is very important and very strong. We've got to either be unified or we got to be divided. And right now, I think we are divided. And until I can see that our councilman was going to come across that line and he's going to unify. And if you ask me, do you think that this is a mistake this happened? Absolutely. But you know what? It can be rectified if our councilman withdraws his CCR. If you show that you are who you are and say who you are, you walk the walk and talk the talk, pull that CCR.
I hear you on that. What are some changes that you want to see? You spoke of the unity and bringing us together, but what are some other things that you want to see happen in District 2?
Well, I would like to see more unity, more communication, you know, and basically more better streets, sidewalks, lights.
Oh my goodness,
we can
yeah.
always use that. You know, we can always use that kind of, you know, instead of all this money going to the lobbyists, put it back into our sidewalks or streets, our seniors, you know, our seniors, there's a lot of things out there that could tell you that we could do with that money. So I'm trying to say, follow the money, shoot it to the east side, because the east side, we always get the raw end of the stick of the deal, you know what I'm saying? So give it to us over here. But I'm proud to say that this horse and carriage business are part of the east side. That's why I'm here today, because they're in my district. And I think it's an honor that they have worked so hard. I've seen how they worked, you know, and I'm going to support them till the very end. We're going to stay and we're going to fight the fight, you know, together.
Yeah. If you had the opportunity to speak to councilmen, what would you want to say?
I would like them to come and see the horses. I would like to go through the CCR reasoning step by step with them and show them all the discrepancies that are in there, and to let them know that we are a huge tourist attraction in San Antonio, and people do want us there. People love us. We have a petition ongoing at the moment through the cavalry group, and that's been signed since December by about 3,500 people. We also have an email petition at the moment where people can log on to the cavalry group and send an email to each council person and the mayor expressing, you know, how they feel about the ban.
And is that something you would want the people to do? Like write their letters, give their
Yes.
calls? Do
Yeah.
you have any type of, how would they do that, in other words?
So, like I say, it's on the cavalry group. There is there, or they can go onto our Facebook page, Yellow Rose and HRH Carriage Company. There are links on there. And also, if they approach the drivers downtown, there is actually a QR code on all of the carriages, and they just scan the QR code and they can sign the petition or do the email actual campaign from there.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I just would like to, like Stephanie said, I'd like to see our District 2 councilman reach over that finish line and talk with them. But I also wanted to let you know I hope that not only District 2, but the other districts that have also signed that CCR, which is District 3, District 4, District 7, and District 8, they too pull their names from that CCR. I've sent emails to them. I've sent it to the city manager, and I've sent it to the mayor, asking him to have compassion and to pull it. Please pull it. Don't go to the governor's committee. This should have never even happened. So if we can pull it before it even gets to the governor's committee, then I think that we've succeeded on both ends. That we could say that then that is a compromise between the city of San Antonio and these 5 businesses.
Man, this was a lot, and this is something that the people needed to hear. Like I'm so happy that you guys came, you know,
thank you for
and
having
informed
us.
us, because a lot of people didn't even know this was going on.
No. And like I say, we didn't know it was going to happen either.
Right.
We were really
blindsided.
blindsided
Yeah.
by this. So, yeah. But we need to get our voices heard now so we can get this stopped.
Well, you came to the right place.
Thank you.
Radioactive. Again, I appreciate you guys for stopping by, and thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.